The Jim Paff Show continues now on KLZ 560 The Source.
Welcome back to the Jim Paff Show. Wow, what a huge show we've had. Man, Scott Tipton, Tony Blankley. We're going to pick up the discussion now about the Employee Free Choice Act, so-called. By the way, I love these names of bills that come out of Congress. All pretty and nice and politically correct. The Employee Free Choice Act. No. This is the Union Choice Act is what it is. It's a dangerous piece of legislation. It's what's commonly referred to as card check legislation, which means that a union organizer can publicly go to each employee that they're trying to organize, and they have the right to do this, and then get them to check their name off on a card, and then gather up those cards as the proof that there needs to be a vote on unionization. Now, this is a way to circumvent the freedoms that employees have had. It's not going to expand freedoms at all, and it takes away the private vote, which is a hallowed institution here in the United States, not just at election times, primary and general elections, but in everything we do of an elective nature, we have a private ballot. And the reason is because we don't want people to be intimidated or have to pay a price for the vote that they cast on the back end. And employees will have to pay a price if this passes. Well, I want to introduce to you Sandra Solon. She is the executive director for the Coalition for Colorado Jobs. And it's really an effort to enlighten people about this act. And frankly, we want to hold Senator Michael Bennet accountable for his vote on this. Sandra, welcome to the Jim Paff Show.
Thanks so much for having me, Jim. I appreciate it.
Well, you're very welcome. Give us a little insight into what you're doing right now with the Coalition for Colorado Jobs.
Well, I appreciate it. And you highlighted very well the importance of the issue, which we dub the Employee Forced Choice Act. Our coalition is set up to, as you said, educate voters about this issue. So many folks have felt that since this issue was taken up several months ago, that it's sort of a dead issue, and it is far from dead. In fact, more and more conversations are happening behind the scenes in Washington about getting this passed before the end of the year. The AFL-CIO president said he is committed to seeing this done by the end of the year. We've seen administrative action that is very problematic. So we're informing voters, and that's our task, and holding candidates and elected officials accountable on the issue.
Well, where do Colorado candidates and elected officials stand right now? What's the challenge there, and what's happening?
Well, we have issued a questionnaire to every single federal candidate for federal office, be they Republican, Democrat, third party, and we are just now receiving those questionnaires back so that we can assess where folks stand. And so we're asking the questions, and we expect answers. So we will be issuing a report in the next couple weeks about where all of the candidates stand, and we hope to report good news at every single one of them as opposed to EFCA and card check. But we don't expect to be able to report that. But we think our job is really about holding folks accountable and asking the tough questions and hoping and expecting answers.
Well, why? I mean, don't we want employees to be able to have a choice to unionize or not to unionize?
Absolutely. It's critical for them to do so, and EFCA really changes the dynamic between employer and employee, and that's really problematic when, in fact, employees lose a considerable amount of control in their relationship and in their ability to work with their employer to get what it is they need individually. So it's very important for employees to be concerned about the passage of EFCA for any portion of it.
Now, as we move forward with this, where is it that Senator Michael Bennet stands or has stood? What's been going on with him? Because really he is a focal point of all this. He has kind of waffled back and forth, or at least not been very clear on what he intends to do here. That vote's very important because all the Democrats, if they go together, can overcome a filibuster, or potentially so. They can't lose any votes. But Michael Bennet hasn't been clear on where he's going to go. What's the update on that right now?
Well, he's still quiet as it relates to his specific position on it. Again, we've sent him a questionnaire, and we're following up in hopes that we get an answer from him. To date, he has not been responsive. But actions speak louder than words, and he's getting strong support from unions and union bosses, and certainly they expect a payback as they did in the last several federal election cycles. And so that's problematic for us. He also voted for Craig Becker twice, and so we know that the actions certainly indicate support of EFCA, but he has not said that directly. And again, we're hoping to get some direction from that. Well, Ken Buck has told us he's opposed to EFCA.
Now, tell me, you talked about the fact that twice Michael Bennet voted for Craig Becker. Tell me about that. Why is that an important vote? Who's Craig Becker, and what's the significance?
Craig Becker was the recess appointment to the National Labor Relations Board, and they will be making administrative decisions related to unionization of businesses. And so he's the former attorney for the SEIU, the State Employees Union, and will play a very important role in decisions related to EFCA and implementation, and any administrative action taken in substitute of EFCA. So very important vote, and he was highly supported, as you can imagine, by the union.
Well, it's important, I think, to also note that in this environment, Craig Becker really does want to implement the provisions of the Employee Free Choice Act if it can't get passed by Congress. Tell people about that.
Yeah, no, the Obama administration has made it very clear that that if they can't get EFCA passed legislatively, they are intent upon getting it through administrative action through the NLRB and other administrative agencies. And so it's important who sits in those positions and the pressure stay on, and that's really the work of the coalition. Again, many folks have felt that it was sort of a dead issue, but we're here to remind folks that it's still alive and well. We have a website, Coalition for Colorado Jobs, that we really encourage people to go to stay attuned and up to date on the issue or issues surrounding the EFCA issue, and it's just really important that we keep the pressure on and keep this issue at bay, which we've thus far been successful at doing.
Give people that website again, if you would.
Coalition for CO Jobs. Coalition for Colorado Jobs, CO Jobs.
Great, and we're just grateful for you coming on the program today. What other things do people need to do to help you out?
So again, when they have an opportunity to visit with federal candidates, ask the question, where do you stand on EFCA? And ask for answers. That is really important. They can write candidates. We encourage them to take pen to paper or send an email and ask the question, express their concerns about it, if they have concerns, of course, and just be active and be aware that this is an issue that should be and continues to be part of the debate and this election cycle.
Sandra Solon, Executive Director of Coalition for Colorado Jobs. That's coalitionforcojobs.com. And make sure you go to that website as soon as possible. Get involved and also sign up for the email address so you can sign up. Give them your email address so you can stay up to date on what's going on. Sandra, thanks for coming on the Jim Paff Show today.
Thanks, Jim, for having me.